Hey guys, Anthony of Austin Joe School here with Andreas. Again, our new home in Vigilante Dance Club here in Austin. Again, today we're going more into Jude Lew, the bright yellow and blue book. Just as a reminder, if you're jumping in late, this is definitely us just reading this again for the first time. I haven't read Jude Lew, I don't know if at all. I don't know if Andreas reads or talks. Mute journal over there. But it's definitely us just reading, interpreting to A, share our insight, but B, also kind of show you how this is done, right? This is very much a learning process. Things we've talked about before may have changed already, and we're not bothered rehashing going back to it because for me, it's definitely part of this. Like what we're sharing, what we're doing is very much that idea of how do you go through manual, how do you read these things, understand these things, and what does that look like? So by no means is anything I'm going to stand behind and argue about. Highly discussed though, but just emphasizing, this is trial by fire. This is us on the spot doing this kind of almost live improv of what does the book say, what does that mean, what do we do with it. So, all that aside, page 139, continuing with this shield out. So, shield to the point, take the neck without danger. And the gloss is, notice, this is a piece against the long point with the deceit of the eyes. Do this as follows. If you approach him with Zufectin, he stands and hold his point against your face or chest, then hold your sword at the right shoulder and squint with the eyes at the point. Pretend to strike at it. Strike strongly with his shielder, with a short edge at his sword, and shoot the long point towards his neck. Do this with a step of your right foot. So, his is in their place. I don't know if it's a transcription error, a translation error, editing error. I don't think it's important. So he's a long point. So first things first is kind of describing long point, our understanding our idea of long point. I don't know where people follow this anymore because I stopped following it. For me, when I do things, long point is not this grow up heuristic set of position here. Like yes, I have a little more reaches, I can do more parallel things to it, but I don't have the structure, I don't have the power that I want for a good anything from this position. I would show long point, arms down, arms locked in posture and structure, sword extended, making sure I put my shoulders back and not breaking the forward. Again, I'm not trying to win this fight by this 4 inches that I got here. That's not much real damage in a real meaningful sense. So I'd much rather keep myself in strong structure and work from a position of power than gain, 8 or so inches off of this with this. You just kind of swat away. Yes, work. Very nice. So, Andreas is long point, and when I approach, I'm going to deceive him with my eyes. So, I'm going to act like I'm going to cut at his sword, swing his sword, starting the sword at my right shoulder. Still taking that version before where it's just outside the shoulder. I'm not on my shoulder resting here. I'm working outside from this outer position. And we're doing a seal out across at his leg. I'm acting like I'm striking a weapon, but the reality is I'm trying to stab him in the throat. So there's a lot kind of going on, like I want to space and break into this. So first thing is going to release an shield out motion. A week of practice and play has tweaked this a little bit. I know last week I kind of talked about tweaking this kind of door swing, starting like this. Getting some more comfort with that motion, this skill, that action. I'm definitely rotating a little bit higher, pulling it down more, striking through there. Right? So instead of this kind of barn door shutting, I'm adding a kind of rainbow arc to that motion. I'm just going to leave it there and not try to over-describe that because past one is protection. So from here, I'm going to act like I'm striking this sword. I'm going to really selling this, and then this, I want you to think this is my goal. Right? And we talked before that jerk back to that word, he kind of drops the point, changes through, or if I do that, I'm in a world of hurt and bad things start happening. But instead, as I really act like, okay, I'm going to swing this sword and really focusing in, I feel that the shielder can drop this extended forward there. This is a really fortunate setup here. So I actually caught him with the cross. By no means was that my intention or goal. It just kind of worked out that way. We're going to be really driving through that shield how motion. Where I'm coming across, dropping this through, and just driving in the throat. Notice I'm finishing in the good shield position. My arms are extended long. I'm driving through, driving out, and really kind of closing that. So just touching back on the text again before you repeat that too many times. So point against your base of your chest, hold your sword at the right shoulder. Trying to strike at it, strike strongly with his shield, with the short edge at his sword, which should point long toward his neck. Do this with a step of your right foot. So you don't have a direction for that step. So arguably the other strikes. So they talk about stepping towards them. So are you doing that and not springing to the side? Springing to the side we've seen is a specific thing that they tell us exactly what to do. So I'm going to assume that this is definitely a press step forward, driving in. I'm just really again striking strong, stepping out long. And again, I'm finishing out catch on that cross, catching there. A few things of note before we kind of move on. I want to talk about the distance of this flag. This is always something that carries people. On Grace is a long point. He's being very polite, telling you exactly where his sword is, right? I know that within reason, he's probably not going to step much faster than I am, so I don't agree with that. If he extends his arms and really leans, he can probably hit it right about here. So I'm safe in this general level, right? Maybe I don't trust myself, maybe I need to like fall lunge and be semi-suicidal. He winds up, that's a shorter cut, I'm not as worried about that. I'm really looking at this here. So I can get nice and close. Right, I'm using Andreas in my gauge. This is not his sword. I can't do this technique way back here. Now I do this, and I try to shoot out. I try to just, I don't actually get to hit him, and he'll probably stab me for my throat. So I need to make sure I'm close enough to hit with this step, with this extended reach motion I'm doing. Right, so I'm coming in here. Again, it's sort of probably reach about here. I think he reaches lunge what he does. So back at distance, I'm still feeling fairly comfortable, fairly safe. And again, I don't hang out here. I don't like walk up, check the weather, settle myself, right? These actions, these plays are meant to be done quickly, dynamically. So if I know that's my distance, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to smile, and then shield out, driving through, I can do there. That was pretty bad shield out, don't do that. But really making sure that we don't, set up here, find your distance. We should be thinking about these in motion as part of an actual approach. Not drilled that way because it's a little bit harder. It doesn't help me learn technique. But just in the back of my mind, right? Yes, this feels slightly unsafe. It's super unsafe if I stop here. If I move through this position quickly, it's far less of an issue, far less of a thing to worry about. Just for entertainment, I want to see what happens when you change up your right? So you should be able to change through. Alright, so you should be able to change through, and I should be able to be safe against this. And I'm not really sure how this goes. There may be a next play about this. I couldn't tell you about that. So I come in, I set the shield here, right? I guess you have a little bit if you follow through that thrust. When you follow through that thrust, with that plane coming in, I can't promise. Play that again. See what happens. So here, well, I need to try that better. All right. So one more before we go on. Oh, sorry. I don't. You changed what your excellent. Sorry. So we'll see. Maybe a better exercise than that, or maybe the shit out like that doesn't work, or maybe there's something else we're missing. But I'm not going to spend 30 minutes playing with this because that's not very entertaining. If you want to see 30 minutes, just let us know below. All right, so moving on. Shield / wings, the upper, if you want to spoil head and hands. So, item, when he stands against you with the long point, you want to strike him over his hands, look to his eyes and his head, and pretend to strike there. Strike this from the shieler with the point onto his hands. Okay, yes. Alright, so now I'm going to act like I'm going to fix over his sword, which should react at all. Not the first moment, right? So I want to act like I'm coming in hard face from here, and instead setting my strike with the shield there, shield how at his hands. So from here, same thing, right? I make that big first motion, turning out and dropping this to the hands. And there. That felt pretty good. So again, I no longer stare at the point. So I don't want to dog tag his hands. Don't look him in the eyes. I don't want to move it in the head. Instead, I drop that shield out. Long arms, false edge to the hands in this motion there. And this one feels super comfortable because I'm safely out of range of anything he's going to do, like reacting hands working from there. So again, go down slowly. Right now, as I cut ahead, I turn that over, and he exposes his hands for me like that as he goes through that behind. So that one feels pretty good, pretty safe. Still not super happy with long point, but I'll just bookmark that and revisit it later. Continuing on, failure twice. When one hits a slice at the same time, twice further on, go forward left and don't be lazy. Simple. So this is about doing a failure to both sides. So a quick reminder, the failure is kind of that fading action where you start to attack, and then as you see their parry change out of that attack, we continue on. We saw this back with his Veritas. So when you approach him in this second, put your left foot forward and hold your sword at your right shoulder. Once you see that it is appropriate for you, jump with your right foot against him onto your right side. Pretend to strike him with a free overhout to the left side of his head. If he goes up to displacement, jerk the strike again upward. Spring instantly left foot to his right side, well around him. While springing, pretend to strike again to his right side. Jerk and spring another time with the right foot around him to his left side. Strike casually to that same side. And if you tend to attack meanwhile, one of your openings. So while I'm prancing around, if you decide to attack at me instead of parrying, so I'm not trying to real cuts or I'm pulling weight overly large. Throw your long edge with the cut onto his arms and push away from you. You shall know to make this from both sides. Do this from this rare palette as well. So there's a lot in there, a lot of leading, a lot of jumping. Jump directly against him, jerk him over on the left side, jerk the strike again upward, spring east and left foot, and while springing, pretend to strike again to his right side, jerk springing another time with the right foot around him to his left, spring casually to that same side. Alright, so it sounds like I'm just going to keep doing it for shape. Upstage, but is it from the one point and stuff? No, it's just this, okay? Right. So I'm going to cut. This relies on you parrying and not countercutting. Right? So I'm going to straight here, pull this there, right? And bring back to the same side. Double check that I come over here. Back through again. And that one should be casual.
Just jump square left on my left.
You're second strike with a free overhand from the left side of his head.
First one.
Yeah. Oh, it's protecting again to his right side. Sorry, so yeah, I should do that with their left. Bring around another time with the right foot around to his left side. Strike from the same side. So here. I want to strike out.
You said that's also good.
Right? But casual, and you go casual last. Alright, so here. Yeah. I feel awfully out of this. I don't feel really as much as I want. So I spring, and jerk up high. I step over here, pretend to come around, casually over there. It's a lot of work, a lot of footwork, That feels very open exposed. Do you feel able to?
It reminds me of one of the Stücke, where it's like jump and failure at the end. Yeah, it's a lot of jumping.
And if you next second, meanwhile, one of your openings, very long edge to cut into his arms, push away from him. Here's what that look like, oh boy, in the middle of this.
I don't feel like I have much time.
Nice and slow, so come in, hold that. So that's your second opening, that go the long edge. At your arms, that way. That feels like a real place for you to be in. I'm going to jerk forward better. Yeah, that feels better. That went up now. So now you made that cut, I can easily displace and cut the arm. Touch it there. If you do that against that other attack.
The second one?
Yeah. That seems to be your main opening against that. So the other thing I wanted to revisit was at the header of this. So the block text, the loss, but still source of region. When one hits, slice at the same time. Twice further on, go forward left and don't be lazy. So and one hit, slice at the same time. One hit, slice at the same time. Twice further on, go forward left and don't be lazy.
So, oops.
So and that's going to draw slice maybe. So here. That feels convincing though, but not high. Just remind me because I'm so close, it's not going to be too big. You can just slice through it. That feels like it makes sense in that mindset. So that earlier clause, the earlier description that didn't make much sense, seems to be reminding you and admonishing at the same time that as you come through here, you need to get close. That forward left spring is a much better, because this is just a fake cut, right? This isn't even like an intentional cut, because it's very easy to make this cut here, so I can keep it under this and cutting, but I'm really looking to make that a cut and a slice, right? I'm too close for a good solid cue. I'm strong with the blade. At that distance, I need to hit and pull and slice to do anything substantially more meaningful than a slight attack. So one more time for your advance. So as I step in, over here, this is a fake. So I can come around, there's nothing. And now if you can see from here, I'm definitely deep inside. He makes this parry, but he's not able to do anything. And it also helps apply the other concept of the slicing as I get closer. That long edge press drop edge of counter, you're going to be making this attack against me. Right here, I'm able to drop this on that hand if it's coming at all. And this is a much more controlled position for me. I'm much less concerned about what this is. Because that was a drop cut, there's no significant power in that. I'm able to drive in close, control your arms, and finish the grapple thing. So, all right, moving on to the side pile. The Shiloh with its turn is very dangerous for the face and chest. What comes from it, the crown takes away. Cut through the crown to break it neck. Press the strokes. With cuts, jerk them away. So know that the Shiloh breaks the guard elbow, and with its turn is a grave danger for face and chest. So that alone is a lot to kind of dissect and go into. Elbow, just a quick pop to refresh, right? We start with our right foot back, we throw a cut, we kind of wind up in this elbow loose position. right? So traditionally, elbow should be kind of centered more, it's off to the side, more vessel-like. Sure, I'm not going to argue, but the sword is low. Your down leg is forward, your back edge is off, right? This is shut or elbow. So shuttle how breaks elbow, and it's a threat to the right with its turn. It's very dangerous to the face and chest. All right, so do the shuttle as follows. If you approach him with the Zufeng, you stay with your guard elbow. Put your left foot forward and hold your sword with stretched arms high above your head and guard on top. Spring toward him with your right foot and stretch strongly the long edge down from above. Stay high with your arms and lower the point downward towards his eye or chest. When he places the crown, or with the crown, so the point and the one equivalent of his sword are up, and he pushes your point upward, then turn your sword under his crown with the edge into his arms and press. Thus the crown is broken. Along with the pressing, slice into his arms and withdraw yourself. All right, so a huge amount to break out here. So we're up in high on top. Stretch arms high above your head. Right? So springing toward him with my right foot, striking strongly with the long edge down from above. So I'll keep my hands high as I do this. So I'm up, I'm nice and high, and I'm going to spring in like that. Right? But I want to leave everything high. So again, just that much, nice and high, springing in the right hand. And notice he's going into a nice, strong, secure ground. We need to stand up a little bit more. Yeah. Keep up. Right? So here's where that kind of first endpoint is. Your crown is taken away and I shut it up. Right? After I stop my sword high, leave my hands high for this. I'm leaving it here. I'm kind of inspired by the crown. We can, let's say, crown a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. So crown to the point and one equivalent of the sword arm. So that to me says we want something more maybe this, even more like this. Right? We have one going up, point is up. I'm not looking for this kind of match the universe type position. But I'm not even certain it's not going to be a factor. In these legs, let's see what we do. Alright. Stay high with your arms and lower the point downward towards his eye or chest. So, something to note, with a turn it's dangerous to the face and chest. So, what's missing between the second item and on the first half is we're doing that with a turn, right? So, I can't just do the wrong thing, right? I'm not doing this here. I'm doing it like this. Because I'm not turning anything, I'm just kind of going on tiptoe and like breaking all the bad things I don't want to do. But instead, I want to turn and rotate, right? Here, for me, I've always done this turn, where I'm going to turn my sword over, and now there's a nice angle towards the face from there. Right? So that turn, that rotation, I've always done this kind of playing with this. I'm going to get through this and kind of play with that. I'll be able to turn some more. Maybe there's something else we can turn that does the same thing. When you place it with the crown, okay. They have the arm low and point downwards. Push the crown to the point and point goes up. When you push your point upward, then turn your sword under his crown with the edge into his arm and press. Thus the crown is broken. So maybe not. They're talking about the turn being later than the black text does. So I'll play with that a little bit. Maybe saying your kite doesn't happen until I've written that. So I'm clicking messages. That's a great number of ways. So a nice high. So then we go back here. Right? So I come in and spring forward, I go here. I want to threaten this. Maybe like this seems one, this is just one point. But it's not saying what you're going to crown until I drive through. So maybe you're saying, I'm cutting this. I'm not a range shooter, right? You should know that if you consider that nothing's going to happen there. So maybe here and that. That seems pretty late. Yeah. Right. From there. then now it's a turn now. I turn twice.
I think it makes more sense first you had like catch the turn still fine because that makes me lift up.
Stretch it up the one hand down from above. Say, how do your arms below the point?
The worst.
Yeah, a hard time not thinking that is what they're looking for, right? Right here, this, which move it up, I mean, not like that, but under his crown, with the edge, with arms compressed.
Ah, the same thing. Right up, port, down. So stay behind the arms.
Yeah, go, point. Yeah.
Cut down one edge.
You want me to?
No, I'll be here.
So nice line, nice straight forward, and cut. Drop. Press, this is my turn. Compression here.
So to me, it's if you just do over and I catch you, that feels nice. But if you come over, that actually
Right.
really wants you to.
Let me counter with this then. Same thing over the turn.
Right.
Here, turn.
You also.
Right. And then I turn again. What's that? And that avoids like the far more secure. This kind of mixing between the two is like kind of a hard. How do you make that?
Your arms up.
The arms are high, pointing low, or turning earlier than the summer said, but not earlier than the other part says. I mean, I'm going to default to my preferred, right? So I'm here, I do it small, I switch this over, right? And then from there, I unwind, right, slice, work there. And that's actually almost nastier, right? Because from here, what I just did this time, I'm rubbing that shield out there. Just did that, where it meets. So as I cut, I drop. Right, and this really makes that, because that comes up, and this out, coming out the other way. So, I don't know, kind of lackluster end, like I said tonight. Any dad,
No, I'm looking forward to the comments.
right, hopefully. Alright, so, as always guys, thanks for hanging out. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out on Facebook, email, comment below, anything like that. Changing things up, we're going to live shoot Wednesday night and Friday, just cover all the camera stuff. Otherwise, we'll see everyone on Wednesday. Thanks.
Pew pew. All right.